we'll start on move 4 after the move bishop to c4. So in this position, what I played in the game was the move d6, but what I could have done is I could have simply taken the pawn on e4. And after that, something like e4 and d5, I have full center control and I'm just up a pawn. So in this position, there was no reason not to take the pawn. And after the move h3, I actually did take the pawn on e4. Okay, let's now go to move 8 after queen to d3. So I attacked the white queen and so she had to go back. And what I did in this position was the move g6, which I think is a very good practical decision. Because I have very easy development, I can play the move bishop to g7, castles, and I can always play the move bishop to f5, attacking the queen if I want to. But the computer's suggestion in this position would be to play the move e6 with the plan of going d5. So after something like e6 and castles, black could play the move bishop to e7, developing a piece, ready to castle, and after something like bishop to f4, you could already play the move d5. And this is a very nice position for black because you have two center pawns and full center control. Let's now go to the move 13. And I really wanted to go for the move bishop to e6, followed by something like rook to c8. But for now I can't really play that move because the knight would take the bishop. I decided in the game to attack the knight, so the knight couldn't longer defend this square and I would actually be able to play the move bishop to e6. And I think that was actually a very nice decision because after the move h6, knight there and bishop to e6, I think it's clear that both of my bishops really have the potential to cause some harm here in the white's position. In this position, white decided to go to b4, and I think in this position I played a very nice move. So the move I played in the game was a5, and I checked this with the engine. The engine says that this is, together with b5, the best move. And it's not so difficult to understand, you know, these bishops are working very well together, but these pieces over here pretty much still need to come alive, and so I think it's logical to open up some lines with the move a5. So white took the pawn here on b7, but now the b file can be used by my rook. So this is what I did, and white went back to a7, and now I think I made an inaccuracy in the game. What I did in the game was I played the move knight to a5, just opening up this bishop. There's one problem with this move. After this move, white has the really fancy move bishop to e5. And so what white's doing in this position is trading these bishops, which is favorable for white because my bishop is far stronger since it's really attacking the white king. I can't take the bishop with the pawn because the pawn is pinned to the king, and so I would lose material in that case. Nor can I take the bishop with my bishop because then the knight would take back and the pawn is still pinned to the queen. And what I should have done then in this position, the best move would be to just admit my mistake and just go back, just admit that I've lost the tempo and that knight to h5 was a mistake. Just not to trade this very strong bishop on g7. So the move I should have played instead is just the move queen to c8, very natural, just looking down at this king here on c1, as well as preparing some really nasty business with these bishops over here. For example, if white would be greedy in this position and he'd play the move queen takes on a5, this is already losing because knight to e4 is just winning instantly. White can't take this knight. If he do so, we would just be able to take here on g2. We're threatening mate on c2, and it's not really easy for white to defend this pawn. For example, he can't play a move like knight there because we would just be able to take that, winning a piece and threatening mate. And after a move like rook to d2, defending against the threat, both bishop takes on a2 and rook takes would just be completely winning. Because after either of these moves, I'm just threatening mate with the rook. But as you know, I didn't play this move. Instead, I went for this move My opponent didn't go to the e5 square, but he went to e3, and after this I went for the move rook to a8. My plan was that if white would go to b7, I would just play a4 and a3 and try to destruct this queen side. But white in the game went for the move queen to b6 instead, and in this position I went for the move queen to d7, which was an inaccuracy by me. This would actually be the best move in this position if white wouldn't be able to play this move queen to b5. Because if white doesn't play that move, I'm able to play the move rook to b8 and just trap the queen. What I thought in the game was that after the move queen to b5, I had a very nice tactic. Bishop takes on c3. He can't take back because then I would win a full queen. He basically has to take my queen, and now I don't take back because I can first win a pawn with check. So this was my whole idea. And I thought that after bishop takes on b2 and king takes back, this would be winning for me. Because I'm up a pawn, these pawns are weak, and this king is weak. But what I missed in this position was that he could simply take on h6 and win back the pawn. And this is still better for me, but after something like this, and let's say he goes back, it's still not easy. Because even though this king is weak and I have two central pawns, the material is equal, and so this wouldn't be the best line to choose. So because after this move queen to d7, queen to b5 is possible, I should have gone for the positional line in this position. And even though I'm actually attacking the white king in this position, the best line would be to actually just trade queens, which is counterintuitive. The reason being that I can take the knight on c3, and after he recaptures, I can simply win a pawn. So let's put that on the board. Bishop takes, pawn takes, and bishop takes on h2. And as you can see, I haven't lost my pawn here on h6. I have still two center pawns. And even though I'm only up one pawn in this position, these pawns are weak, this king is weak. And the play is just very easy for black here. Especially because of this passer here on a5. Which I will be able to roll down the board very quickly. So after this move, white missed the opportunity to go to b5. And after the move king to b1, I was able to trap the white's queen and win the game. So I think, except for my time management there, which is still a problem for me, I managed to just play a very nice game. I just really hope I can play some more like these in the future. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.